an ancient universal law that is making ordinary people attract wealth quickly. There exists an ancient law, older than the pyramids, older than any written scripture, a universal force that has been quietly shaping the destiny of humankind since the beginning of time. Those who understood it rose from obscurity to greatness. Those who ignored it lived in confusion, believing that chance ruled their lives. It is not a new discovery, but a timeless truth that has recently begun to reawaken in the hearts of ordinary people all around the world. It is the same law that Earl Nightingale studied his entire life, and the same vibration that Proctor dedicated decades to teaching. The ancient universal law of creation, the law that governs wealth, opportunity, and the unfolding of all that is. When you begin to understand this law, everything in your life starts to change. It is not about luck or effort. It is about alignment. You learn that the universe is precise, mathematical, and intelligent. It responds exactly to the vibration you send out through your thoughts, emotions, and expectations. Earl Nightingale used to say, "We become what we think about." Proctor would complete that sentence. And what we think about most, we attract. Both were pointing toward the same ancient principle, that consciousness creates form. Imagine for a moment that your mind is a field. Whatever seed you plant within it, whether of abundance or lack, will grow according to its kind. The soil does not judge the seed. It simply yields the harvest of what you plant. The universe operates in exactly the same way. Most people, unaware of this law, sow seeds of fear, doubt, and limitation, and then wonder why their harvest reflects scarcity. The ancient ones knew better. They understood that the invisible precedes the visible, that energy precedes matter, and that wealth is not something you chase, but something you allow by matching its frequency. Earl Nightingale called this the strangest secret. You become what you think about. At first, it seems too simple, too mystical to be true. But the deeper you study it, the more undeniable it becomes. Thought is not passive, it is creative. Each thought carries a vibration, and that vibration attracts matching experiences into your life. This is the same law that governs magnetism, gravity, and electricity. It is universal, unbreakable, and eternal. It works for everyone, everywhere, all the time. Proctor used to remind his audiences that this law does not care who you are, where you were born, or what has happened to you in the past. It only responds to one thing, your present vibration. And vibration is determined by your thoughts, your emotions, and your beliefs. That means that anyone, even someone who considers themselves ordinary, can tap into extraordinary wealth simply by changing the energy they live from. That is the miracle of this ancient universal law. It democratizes creation. It gives power back to the individual. The secret lies in understanding the relationship between the conscious and the subconscious mind. The conscious mind is the thinker, but the subconscious is the receiver. Whatever the conscious mind impresses upon the subconscious with feeling and repetition becomes a fixed vibration, and the universe responds to that vibration with exact precision. Earl Nightingale explained that the subconscious does not distinguish between what is real and what is imagined. It only acts upon the pattern of thought that is repeated with emotion. That means the wealth you desire must first exist as a feeling before it can exist as a fact. Proctor expressed this beautifully. You don't get rich by working hard. You get rich by thinking in a certain way. When your habitual thinking changes, your vibration changes, and your vibration is what magnetizes circumstances into your life. Work then becomes an expression of that vibration, not the cause of wealth, but its channel. This is why people who understand the law often experience sudden, seemingly miraculous shifts in their financial situation. They stop fighting the current of life and begin to flow with it. You can observe this law at work in nature. A seed planted in fertile soil will sprout, grow, and bear fruit without struggle. The soil does not force itself to create. It simply follows the pattern encoded within the seed. The same applies to you. The pattern of wealth is already encoded in your consciousness, but you must activate it through awareness. When you think thoughts of abundance, gratitude, and creativity, you awaken the dormant pattern of prosperity within you. The universe, acting through law, brings matching opportunities into your life. Earl Nightingale was a master of logical clarity. He would explain that every effect has a cause, and that most people attempt to change effects while leaving causes untouched. Money problems, relationship struggles, lack of opportunity, these are effects. The cause is invisible, the state of consciousness behind them. Change the inner cause, and the outer effect must follow. This is why Nightingale insisted that the key to wealth lies in thought, not circumstance. Bob Proctor translated that same truth into energy language. He spoke of vibration, frequency, and attraction. He understood that the mind is a transmitter and receiver of energy, and that every idea you hold consistently creates a corresponding frequency in the universe. When your frequency matches that of wealth, abundance flows toward you by law. You cannot attract prosperity while vibrating lack. The law is impersonal. It mirrors your dominant state. This is why belief is so powerful. Belief is not merely an idea. It is a vibration you have accepted as true. The subconscious mind acts upon it, attracting experiences that confirm it. Change your belief, and you change your vibration. Change your vibration, and you change your results. This is the essence of the ancient universal law. It has been known by many names. The law of cause and effect, the law of correspondence, the law of attraction, but its operation is always the same. Energy responds to energy. When you begin to live consciously by this law, you realize that nothing in your life is random. Every experience, every encounter, every success or setback is the result of your vibration interacting with the field of infinite intelligence. This realization is both empowering and humbling. It means you are the creator, not the victim of your reality. But it also means that you must take full responsibility for what you attract. There is no blame in the law, only correspondence. Earl Nightingale once said that the problem with most people is that they simply don't think. They allow the world to think for them, to shape their beliefs, their expectations, and their identity. But the few who do think, who consciously direct their mind toward what they want, and refuse to be swayed by appearances, these are the ones who rise above circumstance and begin to create deliberately. That is why this law seems to make ordinary people attract wealth quickly. It's not magic, it's mastery of awareness. Bob Proctor often reminded his students that speed is a function of alignment, not effort. When your vibration aligns with abundance, things happen quickly. Ideas come effortlessly. People appear at the right time. Opportunities unfold naturally. That's because you are no longer resisting the flow. You are part of it. You are tuned to the frequency of wealth. The same law that governs the orbit of planets and the blooming of flowers is now governing your finances, your relationships, and your success, all because you have learned to think and feel in harmony with abundance. The transformation often begins subtly. You start to notice synchronicities, a chance meeting, a new idea, an unexpected opportunity. These are not coincidences. They are confirmations that the law is responding. The moment you align with wealth in thought and emotion, the universe begins to rearrange itself to reflect that alignment. Sometimes the old patterns fall away first. Jobs end, relationships shift, circumstances change, because the law must clear away what no longer matches your new vibration. If you hold faith through that process, the new reality soon appears. Earl Nightingale used to describe this as the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. Progress, not perfection. You are not required to master the law overnight. You only need to understand and apply it consistently. Every day that you hold your mind on abundance, every moment that you choose gratitude over fear, you are planting new seeds in the field of consciousness. Over time, those seeds must yield their harvest. Bob Proctor's approach was deeply emotional and vibrational. He would say, "The universe moves for the one who moves first in thought." When you claim abundance as your truth, when you feel wealthy before the evidence appears, you initiate the movement of energy. The law responds instantly, even if the outer manifestation takes time to crystallize. The ancient sages called this faith, the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things unseen. Faith is simply vibration sustained without contradiction. Faith, then, is not blind belief, but conscious participation in the law. It is the willingness to hold your vibration steady, even when appearances seem unchanged. Earl Nightingale called this holding your picture. He explained that every great achievement begins as a picture in the mind of one person who refuses to let it go. The mind, when focused and emotionalized, becomes magnetic. It draws to itself every circumstance required to turn that picture into form. Bob Proctor expanded this teaching by introducing the concept of frequency. Every idea, he said, has its own frequency, a unique vibration in the field of infinite energy. When you tune your consciousness to the frequency of a particular idea, say, wealth, health, or love, you automatically begin to attract matching conditions. It's like tuning a radio. You cannot hear the music of station 99.9 while your dial is set to 88.3. The signal is there, but you are not tuned in. The law does not withhold. It simply responds to your tuning. This is why gratitude is such a powerful tool. Gratitude instantly raises your frequency. When you feel thankful, even for the smallest blessings, you are acknowledging abundance. That acknowledgement aligns your energy with the vibration of receiving. Earl Nightingale once said, "The person who radiates gratitude attracts more to be grateful for." Gratitude is magnetic. It tells the universe, "I recognize the good that already exists," and the law responds by amplifying it. The ancients understood this principle long before modern science could measure vibration or frequency. They observed that everything is energy, and that energy is influenced by thought. Temples, mantras, and prayers were not mere rituals. They were technologies of vibration designed to align the human mind with higher frequencies of abundance, peace, and harmony. Today, we call it the law of attraction, but it is the same law that guided sages and mystics for thousands of years. You are not separate from this law. You are this law in motion. Every thought you think, every emotion you feel, every belief you hold is a command to the universe. Whether conscious or unconscious, you are always creating. That is why awareness is power. Once you become aware that your inner world shapes your outer world, you can no longer think carelessly. Each idea becomes sacred, each feeling a creative act. Earl Nightingale believed that success was not a matter of luck or background, but of conformity with law. Success, he said, is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. The key word is realization, making real what already exists in potential. You do not get success. You unfold it from within. Wealth, too, is not acquired. It is revealed as a state of consciousness. The outer manifestation is simply the natural effect of an inner awakening. Bob Proctor used to illustrate this with the image of an iceberg. The visible part above the waterline represents your conscious life, the results, the circumstances, the money. But beneath the surface lies the massive structure of the subconscious, the vibration that sustains everything you see. To change the tip of the iceberg, you must alter the mass beneath it. That means changing the ideas and emotions that dominate your inner world. So how do you begin? The process is simpler than most imagine. First, you must decide what you truly want, not what you think you can get, but what you desire. Desire is the language of the soul. It is the way the universe whispers to you about what is possible. The moment you clarify your desire, the law begins to organize the universe to fulfill it. The key is to hold that desire as already achieved, to feel its reality now. Earl Nightingale often reminded his listeners that the mind moves in the direction of its most dominant thought. If your dominant thought is worry, the law mirrors worry. If it is abundance, the law mirrors abundance. You cannot serve two masters. That is why discipline of thought is the foundation of mastery. The greatest battle you will ever fight is between the image of lack that the world shows you and the image of abundance you hold in your mind. The stronger image always wins. Bob Proctor translated this into practical vibrational terms. He taught that your results are a reflection of your paradigm, the set of subconscious beliefs that control your vibration. You cannot attract beyond your paradigm. To change it, you must impress new ideas upon the subconscious through repetition and emotion. Visualization, affirmation, and gratitude are not superstition. They are methods of vibration reprogramming. They condition your subconscious to accept abundance as normal. As you do this work, something extraordinary happens. Life begins to respond faster. Opportunities seem to multiply. Money flows in unexpected ways. People show up with exactly what you need. This is not coincidence. It is law. You are no longer broadcasting the frequency of lack, but the frequency of expansion. The universe, operating through perfect order, brings you experiences that resonate with your new vibration. Earl Nightingale would say that this process is inevitable once the mind is set in motion. We can let circumstances rule us, or we can take charge and rule our lives from within. The moment you take charge, by choosing your thoughts consciously, you become the cause instead of the effect. The chain reaction that follows may seem miraculous, but it is simply the law doing what it has always done, reproducing in form whatever is held in mind. Bob Proctor would add that the speed of manifestation is determined by the strength of belief. The more you believe, the faster energy condenses into matter. Doubt slows the process because it introduces opposing vibrations. That's why he urged people to surround themselves with positive energy, to read uplifting material, listen to inspiring words, and imagine their future vividly. Every sensory impression is a vibration entering the subconscious. Guard your mind as carefully as you would guard your home. Over time, as you practice this awareness, you begin to sense the law not as an external force, but as your own creative essence. You realize that the same intelligence that spins galaxies is beating your heart and shaping your destiny. You feel connected to everything, to the flow of life, to the rhythm of abundance, to the great unseen current of energy that moves through all things. In that realization, struggle ends. You no longer chase wealth, you radiate it. You no longer hope for abundance, you embody it. This is what both Earl Nightingale and Bob Proctor wanted the world to understand. That true wealth is the natural expression of a mind in harmony with law. When you think truthfully, you live prosperously. When you vibrate love, you attract abundance. When you express gratitude, you open the channel for more to flow. The ancient law does not discriminate. It serves whoever aligns with it. So the question becomes not, how can I get money? But how can I align my energy with abundance? The moment that question shifts, your entire life begins to transform. You start noticing opportunities where before there were none. You feel guided by intuition, supported by synchronicity, empowered by clarity. You realize that your job is not to make things happen, but to allow them to happen through the law. Earl Nightingale believed that one idea, clearly held, could transform a person's entire life. Bob Proctor proved it, living decades as a demonstration of this truth. The ancient law they both taught continues to awaken in millions today. Ordinary people are discovering that wealth is not reserved for the few. It is a natural result of living consciously. When you begin to think and feel deliberately, When you learn to tune your vibration to abundance, life responds with breathtaking precision. This is the forgotten spiritual law now returning to collective awareness. It is the law that makes the invisible visible, the impossible possible, and the ordinary extraordinary. It does not require struggle, only alignment. The moment you remember who you are, a creator made in the image of infinite intelligence, the universe begins to reflect that knowing back to you in every area of life. Money, opportunity, love, and joy all flow from the same source, consciousness. The ancient law never stopped working. Humanity simply stopped believing, but belief is returning. All across the world, people are awakening to the realization that their thoughts are energy, their feelings are frequency, and their consciousness is the creative force behind reality. They are remembering that wealth is not about accumulation but expansion, the expansion of awareness, gratitude, and possibility. Earl Nightingale would smile at this new awakening, knowing his words planted the seeds decades ago. Bob Proctor would remind us to act now, to live as though the law is real, because it always was. And you, listening to these words, are part of that same unfolding. You are not discovering the law. You are remembering it. The ancient universal law of creation, the law of vibration, attraction, and correspondence is alive in you. It is what beats your heart, inspires your dreams, and responds to every thought you think. You are never waiting for the universe to give you something. The universe is waiting for you to align with what is already yours. So begin today. Think deliberately. Feel abundantly. Believe unwaveringly. And as you do, watch how quickly the world around you transforms. The same law that shaped the stars is now shaping your destiny through your own vibration, through your own awareness, through the magnificent creative power of your own mind. If these words are beginning to awaken something inside you, a quiet remembrance, a sense that you've always known this truth, take a moment to breathe and let that feeling expand. What you are hearing is not new information. It is ancient memory stirring within your soul. This law has been waiting for you to remember. And before we go deeper into its mysteries, take a moment to like this video, not just as a gesture, but as a small act of conscious intention. Each time you express appreciation, you amplify the frequency of abundance around you. Gratitude multiplies everything it touches. Now, let us go deeper into the living mechanism of this law, the process by which the invisible becomes visible and thought becomes wealth. Every manifestation begins as an idea, a spiritual prototype existing within the realm of consciousness. The moment you conceive an idea and give it emotional energy, it begins to take form in the unseen. That invisible formation then attracts people, resources, and circumstances that match its frequency. This is not metaphor. It is law. Everything that exists in your life right now began as a vibration in your mind. Earl Nightingale often spoke about the mystery of the seed. How strange, he said, that the smallest seed can grow into a towering tree, given only the right soil, water, and light. He wanted people to see that the mind is the soil of creation, and thought is the seed. You are planting every single day thousands of ideas into the fertile ground of your subconscious. The universe, in its perfection, never fails to grow whatever you plant. The only question is, what kind of seed are you sowing? Bob Proctor took that principle and made it vibrationally practical. He explained that the subconscious mind operates in images and feelings, not words. So when you think about wealth, you must see it and feel it as already yours. The emotional frequency is what impresses the idea into the subconscious, not mere repetition of words. That's why affirmations only work when you believe them. Feeling is the secret. The law responds not to what you say, but to what you vibrate. There is an old Hermetic axiom that says, as above, so below. As within, so without. It means that the outer world is a mirror of the inner world. You cannot escape this truth because it is the foundation of all creation. The thoughts you consistently hold create the world you experience. The moment you change your inner vibration, the outer world must reorganize itself. It cannot resist. It must obey. Most people live their entire lives trying to rearrange the outer world, chasing money, struggling for recognition, fighting against circumstances, without realizing that they are only battling the reflection, not the source. It's like trying to change your appearance by altering your shadow. But when you turn within and begin to change the vibration of your thoughts, you are working with the original cause. The reflection, by law, must follow. Earl Nightingale's genius was his ability to make this invisible process sound logical and accessible. He explained that success is not a matter of chance, but of law. Everything in the universe operates by law, motion, growth, seasons, even thought. There are no accidents. The same order that governs the movement of planets governs your results. The person who aligns with that order lives in harmony, and harmony is prosperity. Bob Proctor carried this message into the modern age by translating it into energy and frequency. He would say, if you want to change your results, you must change your vibration. Your vibration is not determined by what happens around you, but by what happens within you. The moment you change your habitual thoughts, your energy shifts, and the entire universe begins to respond. So how do you raise your vibration to match wealth? First, by awareness. You must become conscious of what you are thinking and feeling throughout the day. Most people operate on autopilot, repeating the same emotional patterns that create the same results. To change your vibration, you must interrupt that automatic cycle. Observe your thoughts without judgment. When you notice feelings of lack or fear, gently replace them with thoughts of abundance and gratitude. The shift may seem small, but it is quantum in its effect. Second, by imagination. The imagination is not a child's toy. It is the creative faculty of the divine within you. Every invention, every fortune, every masterpiece began as an image in someone's mind. When you visualize yourself living in abundance, you are not pretending. You are creating a vibrational prototype that the universe will soon translate into form. Earl Nightingale called imagination the workshop of the mind. Bob Proctor called it the preview of life's coming attractions. Both were describing the same creative mechanism. Third, by faith. Not religious belief, but a deep inner, knowing that the law is always working. Faith is sustained vibration. It means holding your image steady despite appearances. This is where most people falter, because they look to the outer world for proof. But manifestation works in reverse. Inner proof comes first, outer proof follows. The universe mirrors conviction, not doubt. The moment you believe that your wealth is inevitable, it begins to move toward you. Fourth, by gratitude. Gratitude is the amplifier of every vibration. When you live in gratitude, you are broadcasting the frequency of receiving. You are saying to the universe, I already have. And the universe, by law, responds with, here is more. Earl Nightingale believed gratitude was the single most important attitude a person could cultivate. Bob Proctor often said, gratitude hooks you up to the source of supply. When you start and end your day in gratitude, you align with the creative current that sustains all abundance. As you practice these principles, something begins to awaken within you, a sense of quiet power. You begin to see patterns that others miss. You notice that opportunities appear naturally, without strain. The right people are drawn into your life. It's as though the universe has conspired to assist you, because it has. The moment your vibration matches your desire, the universe rearranges itself in your favor. This is not wishful thinking. It is vibrational alignment. Earl Nightingale would often say that most people tiptoe through life, hoping to make it safely to death. He wanted you to understand that fear is the great thief of dreams. Fear lowers vibration. Faith elevates it. The universe does not respond to fear because fear is resistance. When you release fear, you open the flow. Bob Proctor would add that your fear is simply an old vibration, an outdated program running in your subconscious. Once you recognize it, you have the power to choose a higher frequency. The ancient texts all point to the same truth. You are made in the image of the Creator. That means you are a creator. The power that forms galaxies flows through your consciousness. Every thought you think is an act of creation. Every feeling you sustain shapes reality. You are not a victim of circumstances, but a vibrational architect of destiny. When you truly understand this, life stops being a struggle and becomes a symphony. Think about the people who have transformed their lives through this law. Many of them started with nothing, no wealth, no education, no connections. Yet, by aligning their thoughts with abundance, they rose to heights that seemed impossible. They did not fight harder. They thought higher. They discovered the forgotten secret. The law works through you, not for you. You are the vessel of creation, the conductor of energy. Earl Nightingale described this beautifully when he said, "Our environment, the world in which we live and work, is a mirror of our attitudes and expectations. Change the attitude, and the mirror changes. It cannot do otherwise." Bob Proctor would translate this into modern vibrational language. You are a living magnet. You attract what you are, not what you want. The distinction is subtle but profound. Desire alone is weak if it is not matched by belief. The vibration of being is what magnetizes results. So wealth, in truth, is not something you pursue. It is something you become. When you embody abundance, when you feel rich, grateful, and worthy, money becomes a reflection of your inner state. It is drawn to you naturally, like a river flowing downhill. You no longer chase. You attract. You no longer plead. You command. You no longer wish. You know? That knowing is the mark of a conscious creator. The journey, then, is not about acquiring wealth, but remembering who you are, a divine expression of infinite intelligence, endowed with the power to think, feel, and create. When you think rich, feel rich, and act rich, you step into alignment with the universal flow of abundance. The law responds instantly because it must. It has no choice. It mirrors consciousness with mathematical precision. And so, as this second block draws toward its close, remember, you are living in a universe of absolute order, governed by law, responsive to vibration. Every thought is a cause. Every result, an effect. You can change your entire life by changing your habitual vibration. This is not theory. It is the very mechanism through which existence unfolds. Earl Nightingale understood it. Bob Proctor embodied it. And now it is awakening in you. There comes a moment in every journey of transformation when the mind begins to truly believe. It no longer treats these truths as concepts or theories, but as living realities. Something shifts inside, a quiet certainty, an inner click, as though the gears of consciousness finally align. At that moment, everything changes. The ancient law that once seemed distant and mysterious begins to operate through you with effortless precision. You begin to see proof everywhere, and coincidences and opportunities and the way life itself begins to speak to you. This is the moment when understanding becomes embodiment. Earl Nightingale called it the awakening of purpose. Bob Proctor called it the moment of alignment. It is when your vibration and your vision become one. You are no longer trying to attract wealth. You are radiating it. You become a magnet so powerful that circumstances rearrange themselves to serve your unfolding. The key to reaching this point is consistency. You cannot dip in and out of belief and expect stable results. The universe does not respond to occasional focus. It responds to constant vibration. Earl Nightingale used to say, "Plant your goal in your mind and never let it go." He meant that once you decide who you are and what you desire, You must hold that image with unwavering faith, no matter what appears in the outer world, because the outer world is always a delayed reflection of the inner one. Bob Proctor illustrated this with the metaphor of a thermostat. Your subconscious mind is like a thermostat that regulates the temperature of your life. It is programmed to maintain a certain vibration, your paradigm. Even if you earn more money or experience temporary success, your subconscious will pull you back to the familiar vibration unless you consciously reprogram it. This is why many people rise quickly and then fall back. They change their actions, but not their vibration. To change your paradigm, you must recondition the subconscious through repetition and emotional involvement. It's not enough to say affirmations mechanically. You must feel them as real. Feeling is what impresses the new vibration into the deeper mind. Every time you imagine your desired reality vividly and emotionally, you are rewriting the script of your subconscious. Eventually, the new vibration becomes natural and the old one fades away. Earl Nightingale's logical clarity combined perfectly with Bob Proctor's spiritual insight in this. Both taught that the mind is the cause of all results. When you think in harmony with the laws of the universe, you prosper. When you think against them, you struggle. It is not punishment. It is physics. The law of vibration is as impersonal as gravity. It simply mirrors what you emit. But how do you live in alignment with the law in a world that constantly pulls your attention to fear, doubt, and lack? You begin by mastering focus. The average person's mind is scattered, always reacting to appearances. But a trained mind is like a laser, concentrated, powerful, unstoppable. Earl Nightingale advised listening to positive material every day because repetition carves new neural pathways. Bob Proctor encouraged people to study the same ideas over and over until they became second nature. What you study, you become. What you repeat, you believe. What you believe, you vibrate. The law of attraction responds to your dominant vibration, not your occasional inspiration. That means even if you visualize wealth for 10 minutes a day, but spend the rest of your time worrying about bills, the vibration of worry dominates. The universe is literal. It gives you more of whatever you emotionally dwell upon. That's why gratitude, faith, and joy are not just emotions. They are tools for creation. They raise your frequency so you can receive what already exists for you in the invisible realm. Earl Nightingale's timeless advice, "We become what we think about most of the time," is not a poetic phrase. It is the law in motion. Your life right now is a perfect reflection of your most persistent thoughts. Every new result requires a new dominant thought. The mind must be re-educated, the emotional frequency recalibrated. This is why Bob Proctor always said, "You can't escape a paradigm. You must replace it." You replace it by living, breathing, and feeling your new reality until it becomes more real than the old one. At first, this can feel uncomfortable because your senses will insist that nothing has changed. But this is where mastery begins. The masters, the great thinkers, visionaries, and creators all understood that the senses show only the past. What you are feeling and thinking today will show up tomorrow. You are not living in the world of facts. You are living in the world of vibrations, and vibrations create facts. Think about it. Every great invention, every fortune, every transformation in history began as an unseen vibration, a thought in someone's mind. The Wright brothers held a vibration of flight long before the first plane lifted off. Edison vibrated with the idea of light long before the bulb illuminated a single room. Carnegie and Rockefeller held the vibration of wealth before their first million. They all understood the same law. Hold the image, believe in it, and let the universe organize the rest. Bob Proctor called this living from the end. It means emotionally moving into your desired state before the evidence appears. You walk, talk, and act as though your wealth is already real. This is not pretending. It is aligning. You are training your vibration to match the result you desire. And when the inner frequency matches the outer possibility, manifestation becomes inevitable. Earl Nightingale often emphasized the power of decision. He said that once a person makes a firm decision and backs it with faith, the universe moves instantly. Decision is creation. It collapses infinite potential into specific form. The moment you decide, truly decide, to live in wealth, the law begins to reorganize reality to reflect that decision. Doors open, ideas come, people appear. But you must not waver. Doubt delays. Faith accelerates. And here lies one of the most misunderstood truths about manifestation. You do not attract what you want. You attract what you are. If you vibrate wealth, you attract wealth. If you vibrate fear, you attract experiences that confirm fear. The universe mirrors your energy, not your words. That's why the greatest work you can ever do is inner alignment. The art of becoming vibrationally equal to your vision. Bob Proctor used to say, "Hold the image of what you want and do not let it go until it moves into form." That requires emotional resilience. It means ignoring temporary setbacks, trusting the unseen process. Earl Nightingale called this the test of persistence. He knew that most people quit just before the law delivers the result. The soil takes time to grow the seed. But if you keep tending to it, feeding it with faith, watering it with gratitude, protecting it from doubt, the harvest must come. To live this way is to live as a creator. You begin to understand that everything, every event, every relationship, every challenge is feedback. The universe is constantly showing you your vibration. When something unwanted appears, do not judge it. Observe it as a message. Ask yourself, what frequency within me attracted this? Then shift that frequency by changing your thought and emotion. That is how conscious creators navigate life, through awareness and adjustment. Earl Nightingale viewed awareness as the highest form of intelligence. He believed that once you become aware of a principle, you can never again fall completely into ignorance. Awareness expands, it never contracts. And awareness of this ancient law is the key to freedom, financial, emotional, and spiritual. Bob Proctor echoed the same truth in his own language. When you become aware, you begin to wake up. And when you wake up, you can never go back to sleep. There is immense beauty in this awakening. You start to see wealth not as accumulation, but as expansion. The expansion of your consciousness, your love, your gratitude, your creative power. Money becomes just one of many forms that abundance takes. The real wealth is your awareness of your own creative nature. From that state, money flows easily because it is no longer the goal. It is the byproduct of your vibration. You also begin to understand the spiritual dimension of giving. Both Nightingale and Proctor taught that giving is not loss, it is circulation. The law of giving and receiving is one motion, not two. When you give freely, you set energy in motion. You become a channel, and what flows through you must return multiplied. The miser blocks the current. The giver expands it. When you give from abundance, you affirm abundance. You are saying to the universe, I have more than enough. And the law responds by ensuring that you do. There is a moment, subtle, almost sacred, when all of this crystallizes. You look at your life, your dreams, your challenges, and you realize that you are the cause behind it all. You feel both humbled and empowered. You no longer beg the universe. You cooperate with it. You no longer seek miracles. You live as one. That is when wealth begins to appear effortlessly, because your vibration and intention are pure. This is the power of the ancient law, the law that has been quietly shaping reality for eternity, the law that Earl Nightingale taught through reason and Bob Proctor through spirit, the law that is now awakening in you. It will not fail you. It cannot. It is exact, impersonal, and responsive. It will give you whatever you truly believe and emotionally expect. So, as you sit with these words, feel them not just as ideas, but as energy entering your field. You are remembering who you are, a divine being with the power to create worlds. You are aligning with the vibration of abundance, success, and peace. And from this moment forward, your life will begin to reflect that alignment with increasing speed and precision. Because that is how the law works. And if this truth resonates with you, take a moment right now to leave a comment. Share what part of this message spoke to your heart. When you express your thoughts, you anchor the vibration of understanding within yourself and inspire others to awaken too. As you continue to immerse yourself in the understanding of this ancient law, you begin to notice subtle changes in the way life responds to you. The world does not become different. You become different. Your thoughts, feelings, and energy begin to align with the flow of abundance that has always existed, yet was once invisible to you. This is the essence of mastery. The outer reality changes only after the inner reality has shifted. You are learning to live consciously in the frequency that attracts wealth, success, and opportunity effortlessly. At this stage, it is vital to understand that your mind and spirit operate in unity. Earl Nightingale often emphasized that thought precedes action. Every financial breakthrough, every transformative opportunity begins with a deliberate thought. That thought alone is not sufficient. Bob Proctor taught that thought charged with emotion, feeling the success as already real, creates a magnetic field that draws corresponding circumstances into your life. The mind forms the blueprint, and the spirit energizes it into manifestation. Many ordinary people make the mistake of trying to force results through action alone. They work tirelessly, believing that struggle produces abundance. The law, however, is indifferent to struggle. It only responds to vibration. Action without alignment is effort without effect. Earl Nightingale reminded us that the person who works smart, not just hard, always triumphs. And Bob Proctor would add that working smart is not about strategy alone. It is about thinking and feeling at a frequency that naturally attracts the right circumstances. Imagine for a moment a river flowing toward the ocean. You can paddle against it with all your might, and you will exhaust yourself with little progress. But if you align with the current, you glide effortlessly, carried to your destination. The law operates in the same way. Alignment with abundance is not struggle. It is surrender to a higher intelligence. Your thoughts and feelings are your oars, but the river's current does the work. To achieve this alignment, consistent daily practices are essential. Begin by focusing on the quality of your thoughts. Observe the themes that dominate your mind throughout the day. Are they scarcity, worry, and doubt? Or are they abundance, faith, and gratitude? Awareness is the first step in transformation. Once you notice your habitual vibration, you can consciously choose to elevate it. Visualization is a powerful tool for raising vibration. When you clearly imagine yourself living in wealth and abundance, your mind and spirit synchronize with that reality. Imagine not just the material outcome, but the feelings associated with it: freedom, security, joy, and empowerment. Feel the success as already present. This emotional immersion is the key that impresses the subconscious mind and triggers the universal law into motion. Earl Nightingale explained that repetition strengthens mental pathways. By revisiting your vision daily, you create neural patterns that reinforce your new vibration. Bob Proctor emphasized the emotional component. The more you feel it, the stronger the magnetic pull. This is not wishful thinking. It is precise vibrational science. The universe always responds to energy, not mere desire. Your task is to maintain the dominant frequency of abundance until it becomes your default state. Gratitude remains one of the most potent accelerators of manifestation. When you acknowledge the good already present in your life, you create a resonance that attracts more of the same. Every time you express gratitude, you are signaling to the universe that you are aligned with abundance. Earl Nightingale often said that the person who radiates gratitude never lacks, because they are in constant harmony with the creative source. Bob Proctor would remind you that gratitude is the vibrational key that unlocks doors previously unseen. As your vibration rises, you will begin to notice synchronicities. Events, people, and opportunities appear at just the right time, seemingly by coincidence, but actually by law. The universe is orchestrating outcomes in precise accordance with your energy. The ordinary person sees luck. The awakened mind sees alignment. These synchronistic moments are confirmations that you are now living in harmony with the ancient universal law of attraction. Earl Nightingale's philosophy teaches that thought precedes all creation. Your mental image shapes the reality you experience. Bob Proctor adds the dimension of energy. The emotional intensity of your thought determines its magnetism. Together, their teachings reveal a complete formula. Envision consciously, feel deeply, and maintain unwavering faith. This combination sets the law into motion, producing results that may seem miraculous to the uninitiated. Fear and doubt are the greatest obstacles to this process. Every time you entertain fear, your vibration drops, weakening the law's response. Every time you doubt, you signal resistance, delaying manifestation. Both Nightingale and Proctor insisted that mastery is not about eliminating challenges, but about maintaining alignment despite them. Think of fear as static on a radio. The clearer your signal, the more accurately the universe responds. Your beliefs are also critical. Many people unknowingly limit themselves with outdated paradigms, inherited ideas, societal conditioning, and personal doubts. Bob Proctor called these paradigms the invisible programming of the mind. To attract wealth quickly, you must consciously overwrite limiting beliefs with empowering truths. Affirm, visualize, and act in alignment with your new paradigm. Repetition and emotional investment cement this shift, and the law will respond with inevitable precision. Earl Nightingale emphasized that success is progressive, not instantaneous. It is the daily, consistent alignment of thought, feeling, and action that produces results. Bob Proctor would remind you that the universe measures vibration, not effort. You can spend hours in motion, but if your energy does not match your goal, you achieve little. Conversely, a single focused hour at the right vibration can yield exponential results. Quality of energy always outperforms quantity of effort. One of the most profound insights from these teachings is the understanding of circulation. Abundance is never hoarded. It flows. Giving, whether in money, time, or energy, does not deplete your supply. It amplifies it. Bob Proctor often said that the law of giving and receiving is one law, continuous and infinite. When you give freely, you demonstrate confidence in the abundance that surrounds you. Earl Nightingale reinforced this principle. Generosity is both a reflection and reinforcement of inner wealth. As you integrate these practices, your perception of life transforms. Challenges no longer appear as obstacles, but as messages. Setbacks are not failures. They are adjustments, feedback from the law guiding you toward greater alignment. You begin to see that nothing occurs outside the law. Everything in your life mirrors your inner state, and by shifting that state, you shift the world itself. The process is dynamic and ongoing. Each day, your thoughts, feelings, and actions continue to shape your reality. Consistency and focus deepen your alignment. Visualize vividly, feel intensely, act in faith, and maintain gratitude. This daily discipline rewires your subconscious, solidifies your new paradigm, and accelerates the flow of wealth into your life. Earl Nightingale reminded us that most people give up just before the breakthrough. Persistence is the final key. When you continue to hold your mental image and vibrational alignment despite appearances, The universe arranges circumstances to match your new state. Bob Proctor would emphasize that speed of manifestation is determined by the intensity of belief and the clarity of vision. The more aligned and focused you are, the faster the law delivers. At this point, ordinary people begin to experience extraordinary results. They attract wealth with ease, notice opportunities before others, and find themselves in the right place at the right time. This is not luck. It is the precise operation of the ancient law. The law is impartial, immediate, and consistent. It mirrors the vibration of your consciousness without delay or deviation. Your work now is to maintain this frequency. Strengthen your focus, deepen your gratitude, feel your vision as real, and release resistance. Watch for synchronistic events, embrace them, and continue to expand your vibration. The universe is your collaborator, your partner, and your guide. Your role is to remain aligned, consciously aware, and emotionally engaged with the frequency of abundance. By doing so, you embody the teaching of both Earl Nightingale and Bob Proctor. Wealth is not something to chase. It is something to be. It is the natural reflection of consciousness, the visible manifestation of inner alignment. The more you live in this alignment, the more the outer world mirrors your inner state. This is the ultimate empowerment, to realize that you are the source of your own wealth, guided by a timeless universal law that never fails. As you sit with these ideas, allow yourself to feel them deeply. Understand that your life is a direct reflection of your dominant vibration. The law is at work, whether you are conscious of it or not. By intentionally focusing on abundance, joy, and gratitude, you accelerate the process. The ordinary becomes extraordinary. The impossible becomes inevitable. And now, take a moment to share your awakening. Comment below about the insights that resonated most with you, the shifts you are beginning to feel, or the clarity you have gained. Your words solidify your understanding and inspire others to remember this ancient law within themselves. This small act of reflection and expression amplifies your vibration, aligning you even more closely with the universal flow of abundance. As you move deeper into this understanding, a remarkable realization begins to emerge. You are not merely a participant in life. You are a co-creator with the infinite intelligence that sustains all existence. Every thought, every emotion, every belief is a declaration of who you are and what you are willing to receive. This is the essence of the forgotten spiritual law, the law that governs creation, abundance, and manifestation, and that has been quietly shaping every reality since time immemorial. Earl Nightingale emphasized that thought is the starting point of all achievement. Nothing begins in the external world without first existing in the mind. A seed of thought, when nurtured with focus and emotion, grows into reality. Bob Proctor amplified this by teaching that thought is not just an abstract concept. It is vibration. Every thought carries a specific frequency, and that frequency attracts circumstances, people, and opportunities that resonate with it. In essence, you are broadcasting energy into the universe with every thought you hold. To harness this energy effectively, awareness is paramount. Observe your habitual thoughts. Notice which ones are aligned with abundance and which ones are rooted in fear or limitation. Most people are unaware of the constant chatter in their minds, and as a result, they unconsciously attract conditions that match their default vibration. The first step to change is recognition. Awareness allows you to consciously select thoughts that elevate your energy and align you with wealth and opportunity. Visualization is the bridge between thought and reality. When you vividly imagine yourself living in the reality you desire, feeling it is already present, you impress this vibration onto your subconscious mind. The subconscious cannot distinguish between actual experience and vivid imagination. It responds to the energy of feeling. This is why the most successful people in history, from inventors to entrepreneurs, all spent time visualizing their goals before seeing them materialize. Earl Nightingale referred to this as holding the picture, and Bob Proctor called it living from the end. Both phrases describe the same process, aligning your vibration with the reality you wish to create. Consistency in this practice is critical. One moment of high vibration will not sustain long-term change. Daily engagement with your vision, coupled with emotional intensity, gradually rewires your subconscious beliefs. This repetition establishes new patterns, replacing outdated paradigms that no longer serve you. Bob Proctor often said, "The subconscious mind does not argue with you. It accepts what you impress upon it." By consciously impressing abundance, you create a foundation for wealth that is both natural and inevitable. Gratitude amplifies every step of this process. When you consciously appreciate what already exists in your life, you elevate your vibration and signal to the universe that you are ready for more. Gratitude is a form of energy alignment, a declaration that abundance is your natural state. Earl Nightingale emphasized that the person who radiates gratitude attracts more to be grateful for. Bob Proctor echoed this by teaching that gratitude opens the channel of universal supply, allowing energy and opportunity to flow freely into your life. The next principle is faith, unwavering belief in the unseen. Faith is not passive hope. It is active alignment. It is holding the image of your desired reality as undeniably true, regardless of current appearances. Most people fail to manifest because they waver, allowing doubt to weaken their vibration. The universe does not judge. It simply mirrors your energy. Faith maintains the frequency required for manifestation to occur. Earl Nightingale and Bob Proctor both stress that persistent, faith-filled thought eventually produces results that are inevitable. Understanding and embracing this law transforms your relationship with challenges. Obstacles are no longer barriers. They are feedback. Each difficulty reflects a vibration that requires adjustment. By asking, "What vibration attracted this?" and consciously shifting your thoughts and emotions, you realign with the flow of abundance. Life stops being a series of random events and becomes a responsive, intelligent system that mirrors your inner state. Action also has a role, but not as the primary driver. Action aligned with vibration is effortless and effective. It flows naturally from clarity of thought, emotional resonance, and faith. In contrast, action driven by struggle, fear, or obligation is laborious and often produces limited results. Earl Nightingale reminded us that success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal, not blind activity. Bob Proctor added that alignment of action with inner vibration is the secret to rapid manifestation. Persistence is essential. The law of attraction responds to sustained vibration. Many people abandon their vision just before the breakthrough occurs. The mind and subconscious are like soil. Seeds take time to grow. Daily reinforcement of the desired vibration, coupled with patience, ensures the full expression of your goals. The ancient law is patient, but the universe rewards those who hold their vision with unwavering commitment. The principle of circulation is equally crucial. Giving and receiving are one motion. When you share your abundance through money, time, love, or energy, you signal confidence in the infinite supply of the universe. Generosity strengthens your vibration and opens channels for more to flow to you. Bob Proctor often highlighted that giving from abundance does not deplete but multiplies. Earl Nightingale emphasized that those who give freely naturally attract more than those who hoard. The law mirrors your inner state of generosity and trust. As you deepen your practice, you begin to experience synchronistic events, opportunities, connections, and solutions that appear at precisely the right time. These are not coincidences. They are manifestations of the alignment between your inner vibration and the universal intelligence. The more consistently you maintain your vibration, the more frequent and obvious these synchronistic events become. Life begins to feel orchestrated by unseen hands that always act in your favor. Your energy becomes magnetic. Wealth, influence, and opportunities gravitate toward you naturally. This is the mark of mastery, living in such alignment with the universal law that manifestation is effortless. The law is impartial. It does not favor or judge. It simply mirrors the dominant vibration you sustain. As your vibration rises, so does your outer reality. You are no longer chasing. You are attracting. You are no longer hoping. You are embodying. Earl Nightingale's wisdom reminds us that we are the product of our thoughts. Change your thinking, and you change your life. Bob Proctor expands this principle with vibrational science. Your emotional frequency dictates your reality. By consciously cultivating thoughts and feelings aligned with wealth, you magnetize everything necessary for manifestation. You become a living embodiment of abundance. At this stage, challenges are no longer frightening but instructive. You begin to see life as a dynamic teacher, showing you what vibrations are in harmony with your desires and which are not. By consciously choosing thoughts that elevate your energy, you maintain the frequency of wealth, ensuring that the universe mirrors it back to you. Obstacles become stepping stones, resistance becomes feedback, and life becomes a co-creative dance with the law. This deep alignment produces results that may appear sudden, yet are the natural consequence of sustained vibrational consistency. Ordinary people witness extraordinary change, and what once seemed impossible becomes inevitable. This is the demonstration of the ancient law, precise, impartial, and unwavering. Wealth is no longer external. It is the reflection of an inner state of being. As your journey continues, remember, your vibration is your true currency. Every thought, emotion, and belief is a deposit into the universal bank. The law is always paying interest. The only variable is the alignment and clarity of your frequency. By consistently cultivating thoughts of abundance, acting from a state of inner prosperity, and maintaining faith and gratitude, you ensure that wealth flows easily and continuously into your life. You are living proof of an ancient principle that has operated since the dawn of time. Your awareness, clarity, and conscious alignment accelerate manifestation, transforming ordinary circumstances into extraordinary results. The universe mirrors your inner reality with perfect precision. The law never sleeps, never tires, and never fails. By consciously operating within it, you unlock a level of wealth, freedom, and purpose that transcends struggle and limitation. Now, pause and reflect. What part of this message resonates most deeply with you? What vibration are you choosing to hold today? Share your thoughts in the comments. By expressing your understanding and insight, you solidify your own alignment and inspire others to awaken to the power of this ancient universal law. This simple act of conscious reflection amplifies your vibration, bringing you even closer to the effortless flow of abundance. As you arrive at this final stage of understanding, a profound sense of clarity emerges. You are not separate from the law of abundance. You are its expression. Every thought, every feeling, every choice you make is a brushstroke, painting the reality you experience. Earl Nightingale often reminded us that success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. And now, armed with both understanding and practice, you are living that ideal moment by moment. The law is impartial, unwavering, and precise. It does not favor, judge, or delay. It responds instantly to the dominant vibration you maintain. The essence of this ancient universal law is simple yet powerful. What you radiate, you attract. Your energy, emotion, and belief shape the flow of circumstances around you. Bob Proctor taught that the subconscious mind accepts as real whatever you consistently feel and believe. It does not debate or question. It simply manifests your dominant state of consciousness. This is why holding an aligned vibration is far more impactful than any external strategy or effort. You are the source, and the outer world reflects your inner reality with mathematical precision. At this stage, awareness becomes your greatest ally. Observe the thoughts that dominate your mind. Notice the emotions that color your daily experience. Are they aligned with wealth, abundance, and joy? Or are they rooted in fear, scarcity, and limitation? By becoming aware, you gain the ability to consciously choose a new vibration. Each thought you select, each feeling you sustain is an act of creation. You are no longer a passive participant. You are the architect of your life. Visualization remains a critical tool in your mastery. When you vividly imagine your desired reality, not as a distant possibility, but as a present experience, you impress your subconscious with the blueprint of your future. Imagine the feelings of wealth, freedom, and empowerment as already yours. Feel the success flowing through every fiber of your being. The law does not distinguish imagination from reality. It responds to the energy behind your vision. This is why the most accomplished individuals across history have always prioritized mental rehearsal, emotional immersion, and faith-driven visualization. Consistency is the cornerstone of transformation. A single moment of high vibration will not suffice. The universe responds to sustained alignment. Earl Nightingale emphasized daily engagement with ideas that elevate thought, while Bob Proctor highlighted the emotional intensity required to imprint new paradigms on the subconscious mind. Repetition, paired with heartfelt emotion, creates a vibrational foundation that the law cannot ignore. Your inner state, maintained consistently, dictates the reality that surrounds you. Gratitude is the amplifier of manifestation. By consciously acknowledging what is already present in your life, you raise your frequency and signal to the universe that you are in harmony with abundance. Gratitude is not merely a polite expression. It is an energetic declaration that aligns your vibration with the infinite source of wealth. Earl Nightingale taught that a person who radiates gratitude will never lack, while Bob Proctor described gratitude as the key that unlocks the flow of universal supply. The more you cultivate this practice, the more the law mirrors it back to you with precision and speed. Faith, unwavering belief in the unseen, is the bridge between desire and realization. Faith is not passive hope. It is active alignment. It is holding the image of your desired reality as undeniably true, despite the appearances in the outer world. The law responds to your certainty, not your doubt. Every time you maintain faith, you reinforce the magnetic field that draws your desires into manifestation. Earl Nightingale and Bob Proctor both emphasized the persistent, faith-filled thought produces inevitable results, turning dreams into lived reality. Action flows naturally from alignment. It is not forced or strained. It arises from clarity, confidence, and resonance. Actions taken from fear, desperation, or obligation yield minimal results. But actions that flow from a state of abundance and alignment multiply your impact exponentially. Earl Nightingale called this the path of intelligent effort, and Bob Proctor described it as vibrating first, then acting. The law ensures that the right opportunities, resources, and connections appear in perfect timing, amplifying the effectiveness of aligned action. Persistence is essential. The majority of people abandon their vision just before the breakthrough occurs. The soil must be prepared, seed sown, and nurturing maintained before harvest. Daily reinforcement of your desired vibration, combined with patience and faith, ensures that your goals are manifested. The law is impartial, but rewards consistency. By holding the vision, maintaining emotional resonance, and trusting the process, you guarantee that manifestation unfolds with both grace and inevitability. The principle of circulation, giving and receiving, is equally vital. Sharing your abundance, whether in material wealth, knowledge, or kindness, strengthens your vibrational alignment. Bob Proctor frequently taught that giving freely does not diminish supply, it multiplies it. Earl Nightingale echoed this sentiment, emphasizing that generosity reflects the inner state of abundance and creates a continuous flow. By giving without hesitation, you signal trust in the infinite supply, and the law responds by ensuring more returns to you, often in unexpected and amplified ways. Synchronistic events begin to occur more frequently. Opportunities appear at exactly the right time. Connections with the right people seem serendipitous. Solutions emerge effortlessly. This is the universe responding to your vibration. The law orchestrates circumstances in perfect accordance with your energy. The more consistently you maintain alignment, the more obvious and frequent these synchronistic occurrences become. Life transforms from a series of random events into a coherent, intelligent reflection of your inner state. Challenges are no longer feared, but embraced as feedback. Every difficulty, every setback, every delay provides insight into the vibration you are holding. By asking, "What is this showing me?" and adjusting your thoughts and emotions accordingly, you maintain alignment. Life ceases to feel chaotic. It becomes a dance with the law, where every experience contributes to your growth, understanding, and expansion. Your energy becomes magnetic. Wealth, opportunities, and influence flow naturally toward you. This is mastery, living in such perfect alignment with the universal law that manifestation becomes effortless. The law does not favor, judge, or discriminate. It mirrors the frequency you sustain. As your vibration rises, your outer reality follows. You are no longer chasing results. You are embodying them. You are not hoping for abundance. You are living it. Earl Nightingale's timeless wisdom reminds us that thought shapes reality. Change your thinking and your life transforms. Bob Proctor's teachings amplify this with the science of vibration. Your emotional frequency dictates the reality you experience. By consciously cultivating thoughts and feelings aligned with wealth, abundance, and joy, you magnetize everything necessary for manifestation. You become a living embodiment of prosperity and conscious creation. This stage marks a profound evolution. Your inner state now governs your outer reality. Every thought, emotion, and belief contributes to the life you experience. Challenges are reframed as lessons. Opportunities flow effortlessly. Synchronicities abound. You exist in a state of co-creation with the infinite intelligence, fully aware of the ancient law that governs all things. The ultimate realization is simple yet transformative. Abundance is your natural state. Wealth is not external. It is a reflection of your alignment, clarity, and vibration. By maintaining consistent focus, emotional engagement, and gratitude, you live in harmony with the universal law. Manifestation becomes effortless, and life transforms from struggle into effortless creation. You are no longer a seeker. You are a conscious co-creator, fully aware of the power within you and the law that responds without fail. In conclusion, remember this: you are a powerful creator, an expression of infinite intelligence, vibrating in harmony with the universe. Every thought, every emotion, every action is a declaration of your reality. Align your mind, elevate your vibration, act from abundance, and trust the process. Wealth, opportunity, and joy will flow naturally, reflecting the inner state you consistently cultivate. Take a deep breath and feel this truth resonating within you. Understand that the law is exact, impartial, and ever-present. You are its expression. The power to shape your life, attract wealth, and live in abundance has always been within you. Hold this vision, maintain the vibration, and step boldly into your destiny. Now, pause and share your insight. Leave a comment reflecting on the understanding, clarity, or shifts you are beginning to experience. By expressing your realization, you reinforce your vibration, inspire others, and deepen your alignment with the infinite flow of abundance. The law is at work, and your conscious participation ensures that wealth, success, and fulfillment unfold naturally in your life.